stock market, it's legit like sex. Like, let me explain.
Yo.
Right?
You pay thousands of dollars for it? Is that what you're
And welcome to our podcast, Theories of Chaos.
Yeah.
So today I'd like to talk about something we always talk about, stock market.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want to know, like, what do you guys think of the stock market? When did you start it? Like,
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah.
So I actually started getting into the stock market last year, which is hilarious because, COVID had made the stock market.
Yeah.
Like they were making those jokes about like it's not a bear market or a bull market anymore. It's a kangaroo market.
Kangaroo.
Where it's just like constantly right.
Yeah.
And so it's been interesting. And like obviously when like getting into investing, I just like put some like extra money in. So that way if I lost it. And I mean, it's been up, it's been down. Like I'm pretty much like right about the same amount of money that I put in because like I'm still trying to learn like how to do investing.
Okay.
And,
All right.
yeah. And so like, there's been a lot of things, but it's definitely been like fun. The hard part is getting over like the emotional aspect of it. You're like, oh man, the stock's going up. I want in, but by the time you like are like there, like it's already like finished going up.
Dude, stock market, it's legit like sex. Like, let me explain. Right?
You pay thousands of dollars for it? Is that what you're
I wish, but no.
this guy.
Wait, let me explain. All right, so
All right,
here we are.
yeah.
All right, so like there's a lot of fish out in the sea, right? You pick one, right? Like let's say you pick a company, right? Let's go with one of the most popular, Tesla, right? So when it goes up, right? That's like the best feeling, right? Like it's like when you're climaxing, right? It's just like it just gets better and better, and then legit like when stock goes down, that's the worst. Like it's like whenever you ejaculate or thingy, you feel that little despair. I don't know if you guys anytime.
So hold on, let me just make sure I'm understanding. You're saying that when a stock goes down is equivalent to post-nut clarity. That's what you're.
Yeah. Legit. Like, why? Why
you come through and you're like, why did I do this?
Why did I invest in this? Why did I pull it out?
Pull it out, right? Exactly. Everybody's like that, I think.
Like, now this girl is pregnant.
Once you buy it, it's always go down. Like once this goes down, bro, you keep buying it, it's keep going down. Right? At some point you stop buying it and it's gonna go up.
Tell me that is that regret, right? Like sometimes you date this girl that you don't even want to date, but you do it, and then like the moment you have sex, you just realize like, why am I doing this to myself?
Wow, man, this guy.
I've never heard that comparison before, but honestly, like
it works. Tell me that it works.
It works. I'm impressed.
It works, right? Like you invest on Bitcoin, you're like, yo, this is the best investment, and the Bitcoin goes down, you're like, fuck Bitcoin. Why didn't I buy Apple? Like,
exactly.
I could have been good right now with Apple.
That's where and this is where it diverges from that, like because you can't have emotions when it comes to like the stock market. There's no emotions in the stock market. If you like gotta cut your losses, you gotta cut your losses. Like if you like and so that's the interesting part is like
one thing is that don't let it consume you. Like
exactly.
It happened to me once, like 1 week. I think that week I literally worked like 20 hours. Other 20 hours I work on stock market, like doing research. Like do you remember when it's GameStop and GameStop? The whole saga, right? Like then I was like, yo, I bought it. I bought some. I'm not gonna mention. I bought something. Yeah. And that thing was like,
I would go for it. Mention what you.
I made money. I'm not gonna lie. I made money, but that thing was I always like go to the app, start Robinhood, like So it wasn't bad. It was bad. It was. I didn't like that.
So I mean, good thing. Like you mentioned GameStop and stuff. Like I mean, quick disclaimer. None of us giving any financial advice.
Yeah.
This is just our experience, our thing. We don't know anything about any stocks or anything. So but two things. Like you mentioned about investing last year, and then what is actually interesting is that actually the retail investor side became way more during the pandemic. Even though the market was like pretty much destroyed last year, like during COVID, it just hit like some year low or whatever. But because I remember slowly, and it just like exploded out of nowhere. And it's because of all the retail investor. Robinhood gained like crazy amount of popularity. Other apps like Webull and stuff. It just made it stupid simple for people to invest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the barrier of entry to stock, it just less right now, I guess.
I think it started because, like he mentioned, like a lot of people started investing since COVID because a lot of people stayed home. They had nothing else to do. They're getting the money, but they don't know what to spend the money. They're like, why don't I invest this money to stock market?
Yeah. And then also like, you know, the stimulus and everything. A lot of people were getting. Don't get me wrong. There are people that needed that, but there were some people that maybe were just a good like, hey, little bonus, which is nothing wrong, right? I don't think it's like if you're making a starting, you deserve it. So they like put it in stocks, and it's good. Like now they're growing their money, which is I'm all about that. But on the flip side, I think there's such a bad thing that these apps make it stupid simple to invest in stuff. There's some sort of an addictive nature to it, and I kind of felt trapped to it. That's where I'm coming from.
It's gambling,
it's
straight up gambling.
That's where the shift is happening. I think it's just like stock, like the weeks you're mentioning, right? I was so consumed. Maybe I'll get into it a little later, but I was like fucking crippled by the market, right? Like I just couldn't think about anything. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat.
It wasn't for me like that. Like
it was really bad for me.
I wasn't.
I hit some low points in my life.
I remember, like, we didn't hear from you for like 2 or 3 months. Like it was something.
It wasn't a good one. A good time for my life. But before I get into that, but what are you guys' opinion on that? Like shifting of like, because back in the day, the barrier of entry was so hard, right? Like I learned most of my stock from my brothers, and he invested like when he was thing, and at that time you had to pay transaction for every sell, right? Literally
every transaction you have to pay
some fee. Even the cheapest one were like $10, I think, with E-Trade on, which is a lot. Like
that's a lot. Especially if you're only investing like a couple hundred.
So it was more long-term investor to mid-term investor. There was no to the moon. There was no diamond head. Like all these meme culture.
You're talking about like 10 years back, right? 10 years back.
Robinhood is the one that changed the game, right?
Yeah.
For all the shitty thing they do, they're the one that made trading popular to the mass, right? Yeah.
But I think it's about the technology, right? Like if you look back 20, 30 years ago, it's
not technology. I think it's a shift in mentality.
I mean, look, 20, 30 years ago, you can't even buy it on app. You have to go to the actual thing and you have to call them, be like, hey, I want to buy this. I don't know if you watched the Wall of Wall Street. They called you. Do you buy garbage? Like you don't even know what you're buying. So, but then 20 years later, now you could see on any television or any app, right? You could see what's going on. You could buy whatever, right? But now it's became more easier every day, right? Now we could see what on our phone, like on an app, like any brokerage app you could see.
And that's the other thing too. I think like if you had like serious money you were investing, you just gave it to like a brokerage or like
I think you should still do that if you get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I've got like millions of dollars to
don't
invest,
fuck with Robinhood.
I'm not doing that on Robinhood.
Now
going back to you, what you're saying is correct, but where you're I bet a little like off is that E-Trade and all these other companies, they had the capability to do it, but they didn't want to do it because that was their bread and butter, which is making money from transaction fee. Right? Because these are not banks that thing. What Robinhood did is they basically this monthly subscription. Like they want to make money two way. One is monthly subscription and one is interest. And there's other things I can't clarify.
Well, I don't see most people not using the monthly subscription. Like it's only $5, but
but that's the way they planning to money. Robinhood, I don't know if they're so profitable.
There's a way. I heard. I'm just this is my thing, right?
Go for it.
I heard
disclaimer on everything. We don't know shit.
We don't know shit. It's our theory, right? So I heard whenever we buy stuff, they send this data to hedge fund guys. They sell our data there. So that's how they're making money. But another way they're making money, I heard. So once you keep your money in their bank, right? Let's say you buy Dogecoin, right? So if you keep it there, you're not just you don't own it. They own
With
it.
crypto, yeah.
With crypto,
yeah.
anything. I think the stock market same thing, right?
No.
No,
Stocks you own.
with the stocks is yours. The reason why that's the case with like exchanges, like cryptocurrency exchanges, is because the way an exchange works is you have a wallet, and that wallet has a key, and that key is just a really long string, right?
Yeah.
But anybody who has access to that key owns your wallet, like can take whatever money out, right? So if these exchanges give you the key and you lose it, then you just lost all your money. So they're really keeping you safe, and like you don't own the coins, but like you own all the money.
All the money,
right?
exactly.
So like they're not like out here like stealing your coins.
Scamming. Another thing why they don't want to do it, and again, this is my somewhere I read it or thing, is that they actually don't want to sell the cryptos. Right? They don't want to give it to you because they want to own that crypto. Because if you sell it, they still own it. The way Robinhood does is they buy an X number of crypto from whatever. Yeah. And they give you a cash equivalent, and you can't transfer that to other. Like if you leave Robinhood, you have to sell your crypto.
I see.
Because they don't, compared to stocks, you could transfer it to other apps, Weibo, whatever, right? With cryptos, you can't do that because they actually want to own it. So it's actually a good thing in a way because...
So there's another thing. So once you buy their crypto, right, from Robinhood, right? Yeah. So this money, they're getting like, what do you call the yield based on your money? So we're not getting that. We're not making the money, but they're making money out of our money. Yeah. Because we're keeping our money in their system, right? So whatever money you have, they're gonna collect the yield from there. Like, So I did some research on that, so I knew. So I started doing like, there's something called BlockFi, there's something called Cellulars, right? So these are, you could buy crypto. Yeah. They're gonna give you like some interest based on your amount. Yeah.
So I guess my question to you guys is that like there's no such thing as free, right? Like whether it's Facebook or anything, there's no such thing as free. These companies have to make money, right? Yeah. Which I agree with, right? Like they don't own anybody to anything, right? These are private companies. So what is your guys' feeling on that? Like, they're selling data, or they're and I guess this is not only particular to Robinhood. This could relate to any apps, anything, because back in the day where you used to trade with E-Trade, the reason why they charged you fee is because it was a one-to-one relationship. Hey, you want to sell it? You give us money. We're the middleman, and we sell it, right? Robinhood wants to change that. Is that, okay, we want to make it free for everyone. Because I trade in Robinhood, and sometimes I'm just like doing it so fast. Because thinking, right? Like, just so stupid simple. No fee, nothing. You just go. That's it. So
with that, the thing I find interesting is I saw this picture recently that very accurately sums up how I feel about this. Imagine that you go to use the bathroom, right? And in the stall is a camera. They've just got a camera in the bathroom, and they're just watching you take a shit, right? And that's legitimately how I feel about these companies, like keeping track on everything that you do, because we're supposed to be like a free country where people can do whatever. But if every single like little thing you do, everything you interact with is being watched, like you kind of are not any longer free to do certain things because you, like, for instance,
I mean, isn't it our fault that they're tracking us? Like, if you turn off your location on your phone, they're not able to track you down. So you are letting them to use our data.
See, but here's the thing. You could turn that setting off and they'll track your location anyways. And like Google was found to be doing that. Like you could turn their location setting off and they still tracked you anyways. So it's like they're doing it anyways. And that's the thing. It's like, sometimes I'm looking at a post on Instagram and I'll like scroll past it even though I'm curious about it. Because I don't want to see more posts like that. Like, I don't want to think that, like, I'm interested in whatever's in that. Like, I just want to see that one post. But now, I'm no longer free to look at that one post. Because I know that they're going to track my ass. And then show me more of these posts I actually really don't want to see. I was just interested in that one.
The one thing.
Right. And it's so stupid.
So, it becomes a conversation of, like, what is true privacy anymore, right? I don't think we have privacy anymore, right? Like, I do believe we have privacy in the most bare bones sense that no one is actively watching us 24/7, right? Or maybe they are with like all the webcams. Right. But that's like a very malicious intent. I don't think these companies care in that sense. Like they don't care what you do day to day. They just want you. They have an end goal is to make money, which is through advertisement or selling you the same product, whatever, right? So yeah, how you guys feel about that? Is that like, are you guys okay with it? I mean, we have to be, right? Like convenience over. You can't get everything. You can't get convenience. You can't get free, and you can't get privacy, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think whatever Sensei says makes sense. So you have to choose one another, right? You have to choose your free. If you don't want to pay for it, you have to give them your data.
Yeah.
But if you want to pay for something, then they're not gonna collect your data, right?
Yeah. Like, tell me now, who here will pay for a social media?
You know, honestly, if I knew that like they weren't tracking me and that I didn't have to like submit to this like stupid like meta that exists in social media, because I don't know if you guys know this, but there's like hidden rules on like Instagram. You gotta post like like five like posts a week, and then like 8 stories a day, and then like 3 reels a week, and like 1 IGTV, and like you gotta like do all this shit in order to like increase your like exposure on the platform, right? I would like to like, I would not care if there was just a subscription service. I pay and like I don't have to do all that stupid bullshit. I make a post and they just promote it like on their platform because I'm using their platform and giving them shit to promote in the first place, right? Like they're really the ones who are winning, because like these like starving artists are out here like posting their stuff on Instagram, and then Instagram's showing it to other people so that way they can get like ad revenue, right? The artist doesn't see any of that. And that's just like, that to me is the part that's not okay, right? Like it's fine for these platforms to make money, but to make money off of other people's content is arguably not okay.
You're right. Yeah.
Well, they do, depending on which platform, they do give the people the cut, like based on like YouTube or
so that's actually,
that's the only ones to get famous.
Not really, not anymore. If you have a decent amount of view, they'll pay you. I mean, you're not making millions, but you are making $1 or $2, whatever, right? Because they don't care. They're like, you get a cut of it, they get a cut of it no matter what. So that's their logic.
Well, so that's actually what I was going to bring up. I don't know if you guys have heard of this thing called FAT. It's like a new like type of like blockchain,
a fungible, non-fungible token.
Yeah, exactly. NFT. NFT. Sorry, thank you. Yeah, and so these NFTs are being used as a way to have ownership over your art, right? So let's say that somebody like transfers this NFT for like some sale. Well, if you're the artist and you own that coin because you own, whatever piece of art that you created that NFT with, well, then you'll get a cut of whatever transaction happened. Which is what I'd like to see more of. Like, instead of just like taking advantage of these artists that are out there, like how social media is done, like give them some kind of a cut, like give them more exposure because you're using them to like make money or like, something, right?
Yeah, before we get into NFT, which is it's like NFT is so interesting, weird, and just it's literally what Bitcoin was whenever it came out. That's what NFT is right now. It's a very small number of people know it, and people who know it doesn't understand it. And like sometimes you see stupid monies with it. Like there are people that are getting millions of dollars just selling. It was I think Logan Paul, right? So,
was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
so Logan Paul opened some rare Pokemon cards on on videos, right? So he sold a screenshot of that as a non-fungible token, and he got like 100 or 200, like some 6-figure numbers to selling those.
Wow.
So like in that sense, it doesn't make sense. It's literally a screenshot. I could go ahead and take a screenshot, but the only difference is that you own that screenshot. No one else could own that screenshot. Like you get what I'm saying?
So confusing.
So confusing. Yeah. So I want to piggyback on like before we get into like the social media thing, right? Like I the thing about like going back to the subscription model or whatever model for social media, I think it's the reason why it won't work is that, again, barrier to entry. Like even if it's like $2, I don't think nobody wants to, because WhatsApp was like $1. Remember? I don't know if you guys remember.
No, I don't.
WhatsApp was $1 annual fee when it first came out.
Really?
Yeah. And after Facebook bought it up, they kept it for a while, that dollar thing, and then they stopped, right? Then
They're like, I would rather get the data instead
Yeah,
of
exactly. They make way more money off the data.
more people like not everybody's know about this,
Yeah.
right? They
See-
don't know if WhatsApp is getting all the data from us, right? Not everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Right? So if you pay for it, and everybody's okay, it's $1, I'm not gonna pay for it. But if you're like free, anybody will buy
anybody will like, the
anybody will,
bare
like,
minimum
yeah.
download it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's a huge thing when it comes to like, because I was into like mobile game development for a while, and
Yeah.
that's a huge thing there too. Unless you're a big name like Nintendo and you put something out,
yeah.
nobody's gonna pay money for your app.
fucking
Yeah,
Like,
exactly, yeah.
Nintendo's probably one of the few that could like, hey, here's a Mario game, $10. Like
Yeah.
we'll buy it. Like why not? It's Nintendo, right?
Yeah, it's Nintendo. It's like Mario Kart. Like I
Yeah.
know what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Like,
And everything else, you have to make it free to make it addictive, and then microtransaction the shit out of it.
How about you, Sensei? When did you start it? Like who inspired you to do this? Like is there any specific reason you started?
Yeah. So I got into stock through Robinhood because and I got on like 2017. So right after like I started working, like making money. So even then, like I don't think I put in too much initially, right? Like I think during the pandemic is when I actually started investing more seriously, I guess. 2017. I think through Robinhood. I don't know why. I think it just saw some ads and stuff, or somehow just got into it.
Are you saying you didn't get the referral?
I don't even think so. I think I just like downloaded it and just did it on my own for some reason.
Robinhood, one of the other reason Robinhood got famous because the referral. Once you refer to somebody, they get a free stock.
yeah.
You get a free stock.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty normal business tactic that most
yeah.
companies do. But yeah, no, I got through Robinhood and started investing it, and then really got into it during the pandemic. I wouldn't even say not during the pandemic. What I did is make I banked on two things. I banked on Tesla, right? And it was doing really well before pandemic, right?
yeah.
And then everything crashed, like I don't know it, like and this was like legit, like when cases were not even in America and things were starting to crash, and then I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then I think March something last year was the worst day, right? Where everything, I'm pretty sure like before that, or I don't remember exactly, what I did is I just sold everything, right? Before like, maybe I got like 50% hit, right? Like, and I sold everything. And then a few days later, at that time I wasn't even thinking. I don't even know why I did this. It was just like, I think, now that I go back, I had no rhyme or reason because I didn't know shit about the stock market back then, right? Now I know, like, because of experience, I learned way more. So what I did is I just sold everything. I'm like, fuck it. I'll just buy it now. Cause
Just take the loss. And...
No, I took the loss, and then I'm like, okay, after a few days, I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy these stocks because why not? Like, and then I left it. And then over the summer, I don't know what happened with the stock market, 2020 summer. It just was popping everything. I don't think there was a single stock that, beside like the shady ones, that were taking an L. All the stock were just bull. Every single stock. Any EV stock you bought, any cryptos you bought and stuff. So with me, I did a good I banked on crypto and Tesla and EVs. Basically, had a good return until recently. But my experience with stock is like I had a good enough experience where I'm happy where I am now, but I also had a bad experience where I got consumed that I don't want to go back to that again. I want stocks to be something that I just like put money in and I don't worry about like thing. I believe in companies. I'll just invest it in and like just let it go, right? Like
I want to know one thing. Like, do you guys take out the money from the brokerage, this broker app?
What do you mean?
Like, let's say you made some money, right?
Yeah.
Do you keep buying, or did you ever pull out the money?
Depends on your strategy, to be honest. Like, what if you're
I think he's asking like you specifically.
No,
like...
not you guys. Like,
anybody.
Like right now the stock for me is just like saving up down payment for a property, right? Like that would be my
That's
at
your
least
goal, yeah.
yeah, not like life goal, but that would be my one of my steps into like, you know, going forward.
Yeah.
With, yeah. So
Yeah.
A good plan, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm still trying to work on like what kind of strategy I have, but for right now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to become like as like logical and emotionless as possible in trading.
Yeah.
I want to make it that like I only ever sell at like 10% profit or above. I only buy after I've done technical analysis and I, you know, am reasonably certain that a stock or a coin is about to go up. And then if a stock, and specifically with crypto, if a coin is trending sideways, so it's just going up and down within two I forget what the borders are called, the resistance lines,
resistance, yeah, or support line, something like
support
that.
lines, something like that.
Yeah.
So if it's trending between two support lines, I actually found out this. And you guys better sponsor us for this, but there's this company I found called 3 commas, like the letter 3 commas.io, and they have automatic trading bots. So what you do is you generate a API key for like whatever cryptocurrency trading platform you use. You give them your API key, and they use the funds available in your trading platform to automatically do trades for you. And basically, it sets up like different lines,
so
and it'll like sell automatically when it gets to a certain point, and like
really?
buy automatically when it gets below a certain point. And I've only had mine for like 4 days now, but I had like $475 in my account just starting off because of like the Coinbase fees of buying into a coin.
Yeah.
And then I just checked it on the way here, and I'm at like 510. So in like 4 days, it made me like $35.
Yeah.
So
which is like,
is it only for crypto?
yeah, it's only for crypto.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think that it's not something you could really do with normal stock market, because you have to have, I think, what, like 25,000 in your account to not.
That's for day trading.
Day trading. That's what I'm talking about. Because this is
day trading.
Yeah, it's day trading, but it's 24/7. Happens like it's like
crypto
never
is
turns
really
off.
24/7. There's
Yep. So and that's the nice thing about the crypto market, is that it doesn't turn off.
Yeah.
Like
it's all word same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to get into crypto? You guys want to?
It's hard to talk about the stock market and not talk about crypto.
So what is your guys' opinion on crypto? Right, like, I think the idea behind crypto is that it's a decentralized currency, right? So Bitcoin, I think they're the pioneer of crypto. I could be wrong on this. Maybe there was some other guy that came up with it, whatever. So what crypto initially, what they were trying to solve is that they wanted to create a currency that's the world's currency, right? When we talk about crypto, like most of it is based on Bitcoin, right? Like it became like any other thing, right? With stocks, you invested on a company, right?
Yeah.
A company that
you know exactly what you're investing on.
A company,
crypto, you don't see it, you don't know shit. Like you just investing because somebody else talk about it on the YouTube or something.
Well, more than that, is like crypto is what, to me, when I say commodity, crypto is literally like gold or silver or anything else, because they're valued is because of someone says that they're valuable. Gold is the only reason gold is valuable. Yes, there's a limited supply, it's a precious metal and all that, but it's because humans were like, hey, this is pretty, I'm gonna wear it. Or hey, this is nice, I think, right? Like that's why it is value, right? Like so crypto is the same, right? Especially Bitcoin. There's a X number of Bitcoin that will ever exist. Right? There's not Bitcoin is a finite number compared to other coins, right? Bitcoin is the thing. So that is like, to me, is the modern day equivalent of gold. Like, but what in that sense, what gets lost is that idea of having a world currency, which I'm all for it. So
one thing
what is your guys like? How do you feel?
One thing about the crypto is like, you don't know. Okay, we know it's Bitcoin, right? We don't know who owns it. Who do you like? Let's say one day it's like disappear, whole crypto, right? So who are you gonna like go and like where are you gonna go and like, hey, where's my money? No. That's like between crypto and stock market.
We don't understand the technology. It's not that simple.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything happens like that.
Yeah,
right?
imagine we get hit by like a solar flare and like boom, all of our technology is like, all of our electrical grid is just taken offline.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just saying. Like,
at that sense, though, everything is fucked up.
Yeah, well, I think what you're getting at is kind of like just like a larger problem that we have in general. Like, who says what money is worth.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and
That's the
then
sense,
like
right?
if you like
Yeah.
lose that money like trading into like some like thing that exists on the internet,
Yeah.
right? Like doesn't matter that money's real. Like I feel
Yeah.
like if we ever were to hit a point where like our entire like electrical grid went down and all of our like electrons were fried and Bitcoin was gone forever, like money wouldn't matter at that point. Like money's not going to do anything for you at that point.
What are you saying? Crypto does exist. It is like a whole network. It can't just get on. No one owns it. Not one person owns
Yeah.
it. It's like a
Blockchain
I
or
get
whatever.
yeah. I don't understand it. I understand like maybe
maybe 2%,
1%
right?
of
Yeah,
how
no,
this
no,
shit
no.
works.
I can explain some of it. So
Yeah.
these people who do like mining, right? Like
Yeah.
the mining that's happening is processing transactions. So in the blockchain method, have you guys ever heard of the generals problem?
No.
So the idea is that there's an odd number of generals around this enemy camp, and they're all spaced out around, and they're going to vote on whether they have to whether they want to attack or retreat, right? And there's just like a messenger that's going around with this clipboard and all of them. And you know what could happen is that you could have generals vote to attack and then retreat because they have like, let's say, you know, rivals in the military that they want to get rid of, and so they'll retreat. They'll look to fight another day. But the people who like thought that they were going to attack went and attacked. So like, how do you trust that people are going to do the thing that they say that they're going to do? Well, you come up with this idea of a ledger, right? And this ledger is this thing that the messenger is going around with that says, you know, this person agreed to attack, and then validates that they did that thing, right? But it's validated because every single node agrees that that person said that they were going to do that thing, right?
Wow.
And that's blockchain, right? Blockchain is this idea that you have millions or billions of nodes, and at any point in time, all the nodes are in relative agreement with each other that this thing happened, right? And so, you know, one node will be like, okay, this transaction is going to happen, and it will send it out to its next closest neighbor nodes, right?
Yeah.
And the neighbor nodes will say, okay, yes, that makes sense. This thing can happen. We validate that this thing happened, right? And so that node completes the transaction, and then the neighbor nodes that it reaches out to its neighbor nodes and says, hey, this transaction happened, right? And then it just keeps spreading out through the network. It's like a heartbeat, right? And so that's the whole idea of crypto. That's how it's decentralized, because nobody owns the network or like the machines. Like no one person owns all the machines, so you can't like fake it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why people are so invested in mining, and that's why they pay you bitcoins to mine, is to incentivize you to do the mining, to set up these nodes that will then process transactions.
Makes sense.
And so that's the whole like thing behind cryptocurrency.
Like, isn't it amazing that this kind of off that, but like a human just came up with that, right? Like this idea, like
Who thought about this?
Yeah.
Yo, so I actually read the white paper for this, like the solution to this problem. It was written in the 1990s. Somebody came up with this idea of distributed I forget the word, but like distributed like agreement, coming to an agreement in a distributed system and having nodes that can vote to approve or deny some things. And as long as you have, you know, over half agree that something can happen, then you promote it, right? And I forget the exact name. I'll have to look it up. But there's a name of this algorithm, and this white paper that came out in the 1990s was like the very first step towards Bitcoin and decentralized currency.
That's humans like amazes me, like for all the fucked up shit we do, Florida. But like who would have thought, like kind of off topic, but who would have thought, I mean technically we're going to Tesla a bit, like we're having self-driving cars in like our lifetime, right? Like because we grew up in that generation where we didn't have internet or thing. Like I remember as a kid, like there was like we didn't have internet, and when we first got internet it was through like AOL and
the dial-up
and like from there having a car that drives itself, like
right,
like, it's amazing, right? Like how technology just rapidly grows, and things that are supposed to be sci-fi, we have it now, right? Like,
Yeah.
we have phones that like the screen folds on itself, right? Like just smallest thing, it's just amazing. Yeah.
It is interesting though. I'll say like I get that like electric cars are a good thing, but like can we go back to like public transportation, please? like really good like bullet trains and like ways to get around without driving. Like how many like drunk drivers are going to be able to like destroy somebody's house or like kill people if there's no drunk drivers, right? Like this whole idea of like cars as a default is not something I'm a
But
big fan
that's
of.
an American thing though. That's like
Yeah,
that's
well-
legit like American thing. Like the car companies doesn't want to invest on infrastructure because they make money. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And so they'll actively like try to circumvent like Florida back in like 2014 or something like that was supposed to get this thing called the solar rail. It was going to be like essentially like a bullet train that went from like Jacksonville all the way down to Miami and stops on the way.
Wow.
And then Rick Scott just shut it down because he got like tons of like lobbying from like the automobile industry. And like it would have been so great like for the state. Like
America is legit the only country that I feel like are developing up where they actively just goes ahead and hurts their people, like something like China, right? Or these other countries that are communist or whatever, right? One party, whatever you want to call it, right? At least they care about, like, they will go ahead and build infrastructure. They will go ahead and do what makes sense, right?
Yeah.
They don't care about corporations.
Yeah.
Thing. America's the opposite. America will do things that doesn't make sense just to please some corporation or make that extra money, even though thing. And it's ridiculous. Like
it's annoying.
Yeah,
like it's really annoying to like have to be like our lives could be better, but then like 10 people will have less money.
Yeah.
Like they'll still be billionaires, but they'll just have like slightly less, right? Like
and
fuck those billionaires.
no. Why are you saying fuck the billionaires? Because it's not the billionaires that's like actively going like, hey, we should do this. No, it's the people that have no. I know what you're saying, like the lobbying. No, but it's the only way you could do lobbying is that Rick Scott, right? Guess what? He's still the governor or whatever, right?
No, he's like a senator.
Okay,
or
but he's still a
congressman or
senator,
something.
right?
Yeah.
He's still active. Right?
Yeah, so he was like the mayor or whatever, Florida or whatever you call it, like, and then he whenever he like left office, he went and became like a congressman or something. And now there's I think Ron DeSantis.
I think that's what I was thinking. Ron DeSantis. But either way, like keep it by there's 1,000 of them that are like that, right?
Yeah.
There's no backlash for them, right? There's no where they're like, because the people that are in this like things, they will continue voting for him.
You guys going into politics now.
Fair.
No, but like to finish up point, right? Like, the billionaires, they will be like, hey, or the corporation, like forget about the billionaires. Like corporation will be like, hey, we shouldn't do this, and they're able to convince these people that it's the right thing for you, and that's what sucks, right? Like, I never understood that, right? Like, it's like, oh, healthcare? No, why do we want to continue suffering? Like, free healthcare? Get the fuck out of here.
Who wants to like actually be healthier, taken care of? That's socialism. We can't have that.
Exactly.
Like
public transportation? No, man. I want to drive my shitty cars that could like crash anytime, right? Like,
but America is still like, for some other people, America is still like best place. Right.
I still disagree with that.
People still come in here. They're gonna come in. America is like Apple. Like no matter what you do, people still gonna use you, right? Because if you go to third world country, right? If you tell them I'm from America, they're gonna like treat you differently. Because that's how it's still we have a lot of things. The technology wise, like America is far behind. That's the Korea, right? Yeah. Korea still have they got a lot of stuff we don't have. Like bullet train, then one of my friends was telling me he went to South Korea and he's like, yo, that was I didn't feel like I was in like some Asian country. So America is far behind in terms of like other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the idea that America is the best country is by no
no,
means true anymore.
It's not true. It was
Yeah.
never true. I think it's like
No,
Yeah, I think we always like we have this idea that America used to be a lot better than it is, but I don't think it ever really was.
No,
I think
it's
it's just like
even if it was, the thing is the world is shifting, right? America has one thing, military. You can't fuck with America.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm kind of proud of that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that is a thing.
but like you only like can't like physically fuck with America. Like when it comes to like security, like cybersecurity and stuff like that, we get hacked all the time.
So
Like,
it's redundant. That's what I was saying. Like as technology grows and stuff, I feel like war is big money. I don't want to get into it, but
Yeah, it's
I
not
feel
good.
like things like that are slowly shifting. Right? You could be end of the day is because like it's all concept of like as things get more globalized, right? What's the word? Globalization or whatever. Like you see like these people like in other countries, they're like, oh, we don't have to worry about this, we pay too, like, and as we see these other countries, we kind of feel shit, like, and more like the younger generation mentality is gonna shift. They're like, why can't we have the same thing, right? Like the Germany's and stuff. But yeah, maybe they're not $1 trillion countries, right? They don't have the biggest
I
GDP
think
in
it's
the
all
world.
about the money at the end of the day. Like you said, rich gonna be richer, like poor gonna be poor. Then the middle class gonna be middle class. That's what it is. They don't care about the lower class, like the American people, right? Like whoever is rich. These people, like, they make a lot of money, right? Like billionaires. They're still not gonna give this money to like little people. That's their worker, Amazon, right?
Yeah.
People suffering in Amazon warehouse. These companies has $1 billion, right? They
Yeah.
still don't care about the employee. They could have given them some bonus or something, right? Whenever there's a holiday, right? They could have done that, but they don't. They want them. They just care about their own pocket, right? That's what America is like. I don't think it's not the best.
But it wasn't always like that, right? That's what I'm trying to get
Yeah,
at, right?
but-
It was a shift in mentality, right? It was a study like the CEO used to make like 5 times more than the average worker. Now it's like 100 times more the CEO
Not
makes.
even
than-
100.
It's
I
more
think
than that,
more
right?
than.
Yeah,
I think it's
something
700
ridiculous, right?
times.
And that just
700
didn't
times, something
that
like
happened over time, and that happened because these people were able to, like you see those memes that were like the rich people, they basically just shift the blame to the poor people. Yeah, the poor
Yeah.
people do take money, but the rich takes as much money, right? Like,
so there's actually like going back to the stock market, coming full circle.
Yeah.
The time where CEO pay started shooting up and just becoming like not tied to like workers' pay at all was when companies started tying the CEO's pay to the stock market value. So CEO's sole purpose became raising the value of the company
Yeah.
and nothing else. Not giving back to the community,
Yeah.
not helping the environment, nothing. It was just stock price. Because if you could get that stock price up high, you'd be getting paid like $50 million a year
Yeah.
to be a CEO of this company.
I-
Right?
I-
Like
I could see where that coming from, right? Like, and I'm gonna like call out myself on this, but I do feel that way, right? Like when I invest on a stock, I want the stock to go up.
Yeah.
I don't care what they do, and I don't care how they do it, right? Because I'm getting a benefit, even if it's very little, right? Like, so I see where that mentality comes from. And,
Yeah.
and it sucks, right? It sucked that I felt that way, right? Like, but it's the truth, right? Like,
yeah, I mean it's like so easy. It's like it's so easy to make an argument. Well, you know what? How can you say anything against this? You're just a hypocrite because you also have skin in the game, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
so,
yeah,
like
yeah.
if you buy into the stock market and you don't like conscientiously buy into companies that are doing good things for
Yeah.
like the environment and the community, then you know you're kind of like fueling that, and then you can't make an argument against it because anybody could just pull up, well, you own stock in this
Yeah,
company,
yeah,
so
exactly,
like
yeah.
you're just being a hypocrite.
It's impossible though, right? Like end of the day, right? Like what I care about is my own happiness, right? If I'm happy, then the world or everything else is gonna be like, if I'm not happy, if I can't make something better if I'm not the one, like it comes back to the sense, right? Like if you don't take care of yourself, how are you gonna take care of others, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
right? Like, so
But also on the same, like, if you don't take care of like the earth or the environment, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
just gonna die. How are you gonna like, you know, like?
yeah. No. So like, the point I was trying to make is that like, in that sense, right? Like, I can't go ahead and then like be all social conscious, right? Like, then I'm not gonna have any money. I'm not gonna have any job. I'm not gonna buy from anywhere. I'm gonna like you get what I'm saying? It's just not like
True.
it's not possible in the current ecosystem we have, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to shop from Amazon? Good luck. Like, I need this stupid little thing. Where am I gonna find it?
Yeah.
Right? Like, Target won't have it. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's just, so like, I guess what I want to ask is like, how do we go about it? It's just things are just gonna get so bad that, or is there gonna be some sort of middle ground that we could have eventually figured out, like how the rich could get richer because they deserve it, right? Like if when I say deserve it, I mean like if Jeff Bezos came up with Amazon, he deserves to be a billionaire, right? Right? You get what I'm saying?
He worked hard for it, exactly.
Right? But he doesn't deserve to like
all this money, right?
He doesn't deserve to find all this loophole and then
pay taxes.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like
those loopholes already exist. Otherwise, how are you using it? America, there's a lot of loopholes you could use for. It doesn't. It's not only for rich.
Exist for a reason. No, it is for the rich because they could enable it. We can't.
No, it's because they have the money. That's the thing. If you have money, you could invest on your lawyer and stuff. You could get the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's all about the money. Like Apple. If Apple became $5 trillion company, right? They're gonna have more money than U.S. government. So they can do anything. They can do anything in this country, like because they have the money, right? They could use this money to do anything.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is that like the whole idea of these companies is tied to the fact that they're American companies, right? Like you were saying before, like, you know, people treat you differently when they know that you're from America, right? And that's the same thing with these companies. These companies need to be from America to be as big as they are in the rest of the world, right? Yeah. And that's the whole thing. It's that like they're trying to pull this like, oh, well, if you try to raise taxes on us or force us to pay taxes, we'll just go to another country. Yeah. Well, they're just going to another country anyways, and we're not even getting anything for it now. So like they need us and they're just acting like they don't, right?
The only best thing is America is the freedom. I think you don't get this every country. Like, but you get it in UK, I think, right? UK get the free.
UK,
UK used to until they did like Brexit and all that, and now they're kind of dead in the water a little bit.
Dude, you could talk all the shit about you want America, but America is a pretty awesome place to live in. Yeah? Even with all the racism,
especially
with all
the people came from Asia like us, right? Because
like even if you like taking every shitty thing that America has, right? There's so much social injustice. There's so much inequality. There's so much racism and everything, right? But at the end of the day, there's two things, right? If I want to do something, I could do it, right? If I want to be like if I want to start a business, right? I could start a business. I could actually like if I do it right, I could actually become something. I could get a loan. Right? In other countries, just getting a loan is difficult, right? Like in America, even if you have shitty credit card, you'll find that one shady bank that's like willing to...
They'll like come break your kneecaps if you don't pay them back.
Like you'll find somebody, right? So... And then you could curse the shit out of your president. Nothing happened, right?
You can't do it in other countries.
You'll disappear.
Even countries that are developed like South Korea, Japan, Germany, or whatever. Like maybe not Germany. Germany is probably one of the.
Germany's pretty developed.
Pretty up there in terms of freedom and stuff. So yeah, like America does have that, and it's a great place to live. It just certain things. It
can be hard to see sometimes. That's what you're saying. It's not perfect, and not.
No country is.
Yeah, country is perfect. Yeah,
it's not that it's not perfect. I just feel like the government doesn't take enough responsibility.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
like whether you're Democrat, Republican, like, and I understand like where like they expect Joe Biden to like, for example, Joe Biden to come in and fix it. He can't. Like we have checks and balance for a reason, right? And then not that we have local government and we're so decentralized. Like people don't understand that about America. It's like you go to New York, you'll see a whole different view if you go to another state because of local laws and all that.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I will say that like having like always just lived here all the time growing up, like it's easy to lose sight of like the fact that America is like actually like a really good country to be in. Because like, you know, like having traveled to a couple countries at least, like I've seen some of that, and it's like, you know, it makes it difficult to be like, okay, well, you know, maybe I like would want to live in another country, but at the same time, like, you know, I'd miss out on like all the things that like I could do here. Like, yeah, the like tax loopholes are shitty, but you know, if I ever did become like a millionaire, then you know, I would probably do the exact same thing, right?
Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is that vicious cycle, right?
Yeah, and so it's just like I don't know, trade off. I think things can be better though. I think things will start to get better.
I think so too. Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. And what I was gonna say back before, you were talking about how like you know, like if you need to buy something from Amazon, like where are you gonna get it other than Amazon, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where like there's this kind of like this idea of like voting with your money, right? Like if you take your money and you put it somewhere where there's a new business opportunity for somebody to like supplant Amazon or like become like a different like kind of company than Amazon, that's like, you know, better for the environment or better for the workers, then people will put their money there because people want to support these causes. But like, I mean, Amazon pretty much has like a monopoly right now on like whatever the hell it is that Amazon specifically does, right?
So going back to the voting with money, right? Like I understand that, but I just feel like there's so much thing to like care about now is that everybody has a different issue with something, right? Like if you say, okay, you don't want to go to Amazon, I'm gonna go somewhere else, they're like, oh no, you can't go there, like that. Like it's impossible, right? Like right now, like there's so much division. Like, okay, either you're pro this or you're anti this. Okay, why you anti? Like there's no I feel like there's no middle ground in this world anymore,
but
right?
that's for real. That's something that happens like all the time here. It's like they'll like the argument will be cut into like black and white. You're either pro this thing or you're anti this thing. Like not to get into like gun reform or anything, but like that's literally the whole argument on guns. People are arguing about like things that are not going to help gun violence.
Exactly.
And it's like you're only one side or the other of this thing that's not even like the real problem.
Yep.
Right?
True,
it's ridiculous.
And nothing gets done is because no one wants to compromise. No one wants to find a middle ground, right? Like going back to Amazon, right? They're so big. Instead of like trying to cancel Amazon, which no one is gonna do because you're gonna go ahead and shop on Amazon like 2 minutes later after you post a tweet about Amazon, right? Legit, like I'm telling you. But why don't you do something where we figure out a solution where Amazon becomes the change of reform, right? Like if you keep pushing a company, they will do it because a company, end of the day, cares about their reputation and their value, right?
Yeah.
Unless you have 100% monopoly, like these fucking ISPs. Most companies care about their repetition, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but I also at the same time, like, I just don't understand why we haven't done anything about these companies like Amazon or Google or Facebook, because they are monopolies, right? They really are. Like, Facebook's a monopoly over social media right now. I mean, you know, WhatsApp, they've got Instagram, they've got Facebook. Like, yeah, sure, maybe TikTok's on the scene, but like, it's for how long? Like Facebook literally tried to get them banned from the US because like then you know what competition do they have, right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like it's just insane. Like anytime like a new tech business comes out, instantly Google, Amazon, like all these companies have their own version of it, and this like little company that's trying to get started up,
they can't
they like can't compete, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And anytime there's like a new like social media like platform that comes out that does something special, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, they're doing the exact same thing but on their platforms.
Now they don't even care about like hiding it. They'll straight out just call it stories or
like they'll exactly like Reels is TikTok. Like
they couldn't call TikTok because it's like copyrighted. Real like I don't know.
I think change is gonna happen. I think they're gonna like break down Facebook. Like they're gonna break like
I
Facebook,
don't know how
Instagram,
I feel about that.
WhatsApp. Like
I think they should. I think
eventually,
I'm a little.
I think government is coming after them.
Yeah.
And Google too. Like Google already split. There's two Google right now. Right?
They're like Alphabet now.
Stock market.
That's what they decided. That's not the government.
No, I'm just saying. Eventually, they're gonna have something gonna happen because they're getting too big. They're getting too big.
Yeah.
So. See, the thing is, right? Like, this is my argument for or against. I don't think they're monopoly just because they don't have a dominant in any one market, right? Besides Google on search engine, they have like 90 something.
They have a huge market share.
Who the fuck? No one else is gonna go to any of that. I use other search engines. I tried to be like, okay, let me use DuckDuckGo, see how it is. It's just not good. Google, I write 3 words and they just figure out what I want. Like, it's like mind reading at this time, right?
Yeah.
But like going back to Google, right? Like. The reason search engine is probably maybe they're like 1% of their profit margin right now. They don't even make shit from that. They have They have their cloud business, right? They make bank on that. They have their video game Stadia. Like, so it's not monopoly on anything. They just became so big that they could go into anything they want. Like,
Yeah, that's the problem, and like it's that the idea of a monopoly has become so blurred.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like
yeah,
like
right?
now it's like, and plus with all of our senators being like old as shit, like they don't understand technology,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like, how do you look at something that doesn't like exist, like Facebook,
Yeah.
right? And say like this is a monopoly when
Yeah.
you don't really fully understand the extent of the
Yeah.
things that they're doing, right?
Mhm.
And then beyond that, like the fact that they can just remove competition from any new field that pops up
Yeah.
by like instantly becoming the competition between themselves,
Yeah.
like that's like another form of monopoly. There's got to be a word for it. I don't know if there is or not, but like they spin something up so quick, go to market so
it's-
quick that
Yeah. I don't know what the solution is.
I
but-
think it's also based because it's the United States. They have some law. They have to follow the law, right? But Facebook doesn't have the same right in Australia. If you're in Australia,
Yeah.
they don't have the feed in Australia right now in Facebook. Like you get the feed like whatever somebody's new feed there
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
In Australia, they don't have that because it's against their some policy in Australia.
Yeah, local. Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
so it's also based on the corporation, like the big the lawmakers.
Yeah.
They also like aware of this stuff. So there's a law to do it. Like they're not doing anything like what's the word I'm looking for. So they're not anything doing against the government.
Government.
Like, they're
Yeah, I
doing
see what you're
everything.
saying. Yeah,
Everything's all the laws are written.
Yeah, and you bring up a really interesting point, and I guess we could like understand like how change is gonna happen. I don't think change is gonna happen from people. People can't go like, oh, we're not gonna shop at Amazon. I don't think that's gonna be enough thing. I think what's gonna happen is the government needs to do something,
They
right?
have to step in. Yeah.
And I think
And
where
they-
the change will come is that as like more people are voting now, more people are more into politics, right?
Yeah.
Which is such a good thing. Is like people are aware things are happening, and other parties are trying to do stuff like to make sure that more kids are not voting, right? This Gen Z's, millennials, right? They see the issue. They're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Why am I getting screwed over just because of some rich white guy wants to make money,
Yeah.
right? Like, so as more people and more thing, I just hope like the way we are right now changes. Like, it's like either you're this or this, right? There's no like diversion anymore. And yeah, so I think voting is like what's happening more, and I think that's where the change is gonna come probably.
we'll see. I feel like like the whole part of like the freedom of America though is that like we don't really generally expect the government to do something about it, because like I mean, like we were saying before, like the government's pretty like incompetent when it comes to like even doing these kinds of things, right? So that's why I think I still have more faith that it'll probably work out better if people like vote with their money and do things like take their own initiative
There's
to do
another
things. That's
thing,
where like
right?
the freedom comes in.
There's another thing. It's not the government, right? It's like where you're staying right now. Let's say you're in a county, right? You have to change. You have to do, if you want to do something, instead of voting for the government, like
Yeah,
big
local.
election,
Yeah,
you have to make sure you vote for your state or
that-
local, because
yeah.
that's
People
actually
understood
affecting
it.
you
Yeah.
directly.
That's
but nobody's
more, yeah.
realizing it.
Yeah.
So based on like a lot of people voted during the general election, right? So because everybody say, okay, it's gonna do a lot of shit, right? But end of the day, it's not. It's actually it's whatever local government there.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
everything you getting from because of them. So a lot of people not understanding it.
I think more people.
I never voted for local governments, to be honest. I didn't.
I
Did you guys do it?
I vote.
You did?
I mean, when you say local, I vote in the midterm as well. And it's a funny thing, right? When the president election is there, everyone's going, okay, we got Trump in office, or we got Biden in office, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then what is he gonna do if you don't go and vote 2 years later and the whole party system shit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right now we have a divided Senate, right? It's really hard to get anything done, but we're still getting things done, right?
Yeah.
But let's say 2 years later, it flips to either one party controlling, then you just have a deadlock again. So
Yeah.
people care so much about like thing, it just has to trickle down. And I think what's happening, good thing about the pandemic is it pushed like this idea of mail-in ballot, 2 weeks to board, early boarding, all this forward. And I think states local governments are gonna start keeping it, which is really the best thing we could do for our country.
Yeah, exactly. I find it interesting that in a country where like the whole thing is democracy, the whole thing is voting, right? that you're not automatically
Fucking-
registered
yeah.
to vote at 18.
Fucking
Like you should just
yeah.
automatically be
Yeah, yeah,
registered to
Exactly.
vote.
What do you have to
sense.
sign up for?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
if it's your right, you should just get like a voting card in the mail.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to like if you show up with your voting card, you shouldn't have to show an ID. Like the voting card
Yeah.
could have your picture on
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
No,
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to show the ID. I think once you, because
but I mean, like if the government's creating the voter cards, like the voter card could be your ID.
what if
right?
I take his card and I took
Bro,
it? To,
it's
Well,
so-
you could put a picture on it. Like,
Oh,
and
even-
yeah.
even-
so how are you gonna take the picture? Are you gonna take from the
You just take
driver?
it from like their ID. You keep the like they have their
Hassan,
like ID picture. in the,
What you saying is
So there's a thing though, like if you could do that, for get the like photo ID from your like
Yeah.
driving license.
Yeah.
But driving license is based on like state, right? So, but this thing voting system is like for a whole country, right?
no.
yeah.
It's
Well,
owned-
there's still state and local elections,
it's
like you're
owned by.
saying. Like,
See that's where I was trying to get at is that what are you thinking of? Voter fraud in America is so rare just because it's impossible. We're so decentralized that it's impossible to hack our system, right? Each state, each county has their own unique way to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it like if this state is using this company, another company, state, like you cannot legit like hack. You could do like maybe 10 boards, 20 boards, nothing that will even change anything.
yeah.
So that's something I just want to clarify because a lot of people
Yeah.
think like, oh, it's like having this so easy to cheat. Like, no, you register. It's still local government running the elections,
yeah.
right? Like, yeah. So
I think I think
I don't know, the reason I said it because I feel like you also need to bring your ID with your.
you don't need to
voter-
bring it right now. You know that, right? In New York City.
You don't need it.
No, because again, you can only vote in one certain place.
the other thing too is like if you have like your like social
No.
security number and all that, like you
No,
could
they
just
don't
provide that information.
No, what I'm saying is like let's say I already voted, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knows me. I went there and voted, right? And I came back with my mom's or brother's voter ID, and I go back and do it again.
You can.
Why-
You didn't vote? What do you mean? Like you go there.
Yeah.
There's a name.
Yeah.
You sign you sign next to your name.
Yeah.
Right. I'm talking about New York City, Brooklyn, right? Whatever, our county.
Yeah, yeah.
And then how you gonna go there and what? You gonna sign somebody else's name?
Yeah, I mean, how they gonna know?
They match the signature.
They don't match it.
Yes, they
just write it
do.
down.
No, dude, you think it's that easy? Everybody would have done it. Okay, you did it, right?
Yeah.
You taking the chance of committing a federal crime to get one
I know
free
that.
vote?
I know that. I would never do such a
No,
thing.
no, no,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
no,
just saying.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, no,
could've-
I'm saying
could've-
you, whoever's thinking that way, like, oh, I'm gonna get my guy elected, right?
Yeah.
It's not possible. Maybe 10 votes get like
Yeah.
that. Eventually,
Listen,
they
I
have
understood-
redundant like
I
that.
understood
Yeah.
what you're saying. It's not like you're voting for NBA All Star, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not some online voting.
yeah,
where-
you just like new email. yeah.
You know how many votes I sent for Steph Curry and all for All Star vote? I think I sent them like 10 votes. I have like 10 emails.
Bro,
I sent it.
you a popularity contest versus a national
No,
election.
I'm just saying. I'm just giving. So no, I would never do such a thing. By the way, like
it doesn't matter. Even
no,
if the most
no, I'm just
knowledgeable
thinking.
person. Yeah.
No, that way, the reason I thinking that I came from a third world country was that this thing
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Actually, this happened like
Yeah,
on a regular
exactly.
basis. It happened.
I agree with you.
So that's what I was thinking. But I would never do such a thing. By the way.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But I think we're going to politics right now.
Yeah, we keep going in. Yeah, how about we go back to
Yeah.
to the stock market?
So let's go back to
Yeah,
crypto. So I want to talk about crypto. You know, one thing I think I've been one of the best decisions of buying crypto like early when it was like something was cheap.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk about how much I bought or whatever. I want to talk about
That's fine.
Yeah.
for
Go for
security
whatever you're
reason. You know what I'm
comfortable
saying?
Yeah, that's fair, fair.
So
Okay, but could you imagine being that guy who spent like 1,000 Bitcoin to buy a pizza like back in
Oh.
like 2013
Yeah,
or 2014?
yeah, yeah.
That goes back to the question that I had is that Bitcoin can never be cash. It's because you value it too much, right?
Yeah.
Tesla is accepting Bitcoins as a
Really?
transaction, right?
Yeah, yeah, they do. Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would never go buy a Tesla with a Tesla. I'll cash it out
Yeah,
and then buy it. It's
see, if you sell your Bitcoin to Tesla, they're gonna keep it.
They're gonna hold on to
They're gonna hold on
it.
to it. They're gonna make double, bro. Like
Yeah, no, thank
that's
you.
That's the idea.
but-
I really do wish, going back to crypto and stuff, I do wish that we get to a point where we do have a digital currency.
Yeah.
Right? That's not so, like, that's not $1 today and $500 tomorrow. Like, I don't want that. I want $1 to be $1. Maybe $1 is less because of inflation, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I think the only way we get that is through government, maybe, because China is working on something like that.
I heard.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I really do think like the idea of like a distributed currency that everybody in the world can use is a really good step towards other things. Like, you know, maybe the idea of like, you know, these are like totally just like out there things that people have thought about for a long time, but like, you know, a post-scarcity society or like, you know, like a borderless like world, you know, just like other things that would be like just amazing to have. I feel like if there's any steps that are being taken as cryptocurrency are the first baby steps towards getting towards anything like that. So
I think things need to happen although it is decentralized, it needs to get relevant. There's so many fucking currencies, there's so many coins out there, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous,
right? Like I think there's more currency than stocks right now.
So which means it's not going anywhere soon.
There's so many stocks.
This cryptocurrency is not going to go anywhere. It's going to go up.
It has to.
And you know, here's one positive thing about the government being like not understanding tech. It's like it's not really going to get regulated anytime soon. Like it's
they
gonna
can't
be
control it.
And that's kind of the point, you know. Like
but they should be worried about it though, because if cryptocurrency takes over, then the dollar worth gonna be less, right?
But it won, right?
It will. It replaced. Look, right now dollar is everywhere, right? Like you could use it any country you go, right?
Yeah.
But it's cryptocurrency. One day, maybe 10 years later, it's gonna be like that.
Yeah. So. Okay, I see what you're saying, but like my thing is that
because only way that you look, think this way: how much time? How right now? Do you have cash right now? You don't have cash. We're not using the cash value anymore. We don't need it, right?
But
everything is digital. Everything using card, using
but can we not make an argument that we already have digital currency, right?
We do, but we're not there yet. I'm saying like
no, like
we're gonna replace dollar. I mean crypto.
But why? See, that's the thing, right? My point with crypto is valued. Dollar is backed by the U.S. government, right?
Yeah.
That's why the dollar is gonna be $1. This bottle is worth $1 today, but maybe like 10 years later, it's gonna be worth $2. Right?
Yeah.
That's how little dollar loses value or gains value, right?
Yeah.
So it's backed by the thing. Crypto in last year was $4,000. Now it's $40,000, right? Like you see what I'm saying? It's impossible to be a currency with Bitcoin, especially, right? Because of the volatility, right?
Yeah.
Like, and the only way is that somebody has to say that, hey, this should stay at this point. And how do we get there? That's
nobody can control it. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not like I'm going back to that guy that bought the chips, right? Like. If I'm that guy, I want to be pissed. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, it is what it is. Like, people could use the money from like crypto, like I did. I sold something and bought something, right? Like,
yeah. Well, see, I think to your point, Sensei, is that like you wouldn't want it to replace the dollar because you wouldn't want to sell it. Like, it's like a good. It's like a commodity. Yeah, exactly.
It became a commodity.
So like I don't see it replacing the dollar because you know. Like I wouldn't want to sell Bitcoin, like use Bitcoin in a transaction, knowing that it's just gonna shoot up, and I'm like losing money by making that transaction. Right?
Exactly. So that's the original goal behind it, but I think they missed that, and they just became a commodity, which is not a bad thing. It's just the digital equivalent to gold. Right, that's how I see cryptos. Right, it's legit digital equivalent to gold. So I don't know how we're gonna get there. Where maybe like what you want and what everybody wants is that if I have $1, I want that dollar to be worth $1 in another country.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we're gonna get there.
I'm talking about like Gen Z, right? Like they're gonna think something different. Because they might change this.
Of course, I mean we don't know what's gonna happen in 20 years.
Yeah,
maybe
I'm just saying, like,
some new shit comes out. Like,
but one thing I realized, the crypto market is affecting the stock market a little bit. You know why? Because a lot of people like not investing in the stock market; they investing in crypto. So the money gonna spend on a stock market. Now he's putting on crypto.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now. I don't buy stock no more. Like I don't think because I kept buying. It's dipping. I bought it. Right. At some point I'm like, I get tired of it. Like I'm not gonna buy anymore. So that's why now what I'm doing is buying crypto.
Well, so there's a couple interesting things about that. One thing is that there's a switch that happens every couple of years, especially when an economic downturn happens. So usually a lot of companies will put their money into government like stocks and bonds, right? And the reason why is because they increase at like a consistent rate, right? But during times of economic downturns, the rate of increase of these stocks and bonds goes down, right? And so it becomes less financially sound to buy, the U.S. like government like stocks and bonds, and more effective to buy into the stock market because the stock market, let's say, has like a 5% return on your investments, right? So over time, when an economic downturn happens and the government like lowers the return on bonds, companies pull their money out of bonds and put it into the stock market. And the recent like uptick we've seen over like the past like, maybe 2 years or so has been due to companies doing this. But now that things have kind of stabilized for the US, and the government can increase the rate of value gain on these stocks and bonds, companies are going to be pulling their money back out of the stock market and putting it back into these bonds. Right?
Can we have to do the other way?
Yeah.
Until I get my money.
and see, that's the whole thing. That's why right now the stock market is like probably not going to be like a great place to invest for the next like, year or so.
See,
but one more thing is that like the thing with the stock market is that it's more stable, right? And so companies, I don't think, are really going to be putting a lot of money. Like it's going to be individual retail investors in Bitcoin, which is a good thing. The volatility is a beautiful thing for retail investors because you can make a lot more money if you just put effort into it. Whereas the stock market, other things could happen. Like the company could like have done some shady shit and like lied about how much money that they made. Like so many things can happen that could cause you to lose money on a stock that you thought was going to be good. But cryptocurrency is like simplified. It's like all over the place, but simplified.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess one thing I did think about it, like where you mentioned that, is that see, I feel like end of the day, like what you mentioned about like companies taking out money and stuff, we legit like don't own anything unless someone wants to like continually understand this flow and stuff. Then they will able to follow the market trend and stuff, right? For most people, it just literally just depending on your type of investment, right? You buy something and if the stock goes down, you're like, whoa, wait, what's happening? That's where you think you buy dip and it goes dip. We don't understand why, like this whole bond thing, right? Like it takes a while to understand like things like that. And so I guess going back, like how do you guys see like the stock, right? Like is it something that, do you feel like more people should put a lot of effort into it, or it should be something more, hey, invest on a few companies and then just have it as a backup plan or as a growth plan? Like, what strategy do you guys more like align with or see? I guess
I don't know if you want to go first.
I mean, you could go first.
So I guess for me, like the way I've seen it recently is like the stock market seems like it's not really good for like day trading or for like like pattern trading or anything like that. I think it's better to like hold and like collect dividends off of stocks.
I think that's not true. For some people it is. Some people that's their only job. They could do day trading.
Yeah,
but if me and like you guys, right? All of us, we have a 9 to 5 job, so we can work on like all the time, right? You can like still look at the stock market all the time. So
well, that's the other thing, and like kind of like along with my equation to say that is that like, in order to even day trade, you have to have like I think $15,000 in your account.
25,000.
25,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a very large amount of money. So it like stops a lot of people, like retail investors. That's what I mean. Like so like it stops them from being able to take it really any other way than long term or midterm investing. It's like makes it not very feasible to do like day to day investing, but like cryptocurrency is very viable to either do short or super long-term investing. Those are like the only two things you can do with crypto. We were talking about
any final thoughts, I guess.
Yeah, there was one thing. I was trying to think of this, the consensus algorithm. So there's a consensus algorithm out there called Paxos, and that was the one that I was trying to think of earlier. And so Paxos is like one of the like general like consensus algorithms
for blockchain, right?
Yeah, for blockchain that blockchain's like kind of loosely based off of, right? And it's this idea you have multiple nodes. So yeah, anyone who's interested in learning about distributed consensus algorithms like blockchain, Paxos is a good place to start.
So that's cool. I mean, for me, like stock, like I mean, I guess we didn't really go into like super into it, maybe some other time, but to me, I see it as like something I'll continue to invest on it, but I don't want that to be my final growth. Like I never see myself becoming Warren Buffett where that's my only form of growth, right?
Yeah.
I still kind of want to invest on like not invest like work on projects, something that could lead
Side
our
hustle,
business
yeah.
our business.
Yeah.
I guess the word is that still want to invest on my own businesses and all that. I see stock as just the easiest way to like, it's better than keeping your money in a bank for sure.
Yeah.
Like even if you invest on Google, like for example, like going back to these companies that are so big, one good thing about them is that you buy their stock, you know they're not gonna crash tomorrow,
Yeah,
right?
true.
They are always gonna retain their value, if
Yeah.
not continue to grow,
Yeah.
right?
The idea of investor confidence and all that.
So if you diversify your thing with stocks, you could have with stock crypto. I mean, not as much crypto, but with stocks, you could do like, you could be a very risky investor, or you could be a very safe investor. You could be a dividend investor. So there's a lot of strategy to it. You just have to do research. Don't gamble.
Yeah, no gambling and
yeah.
take all emotion
Yeah.
out of it.
There's no GameStop to the moon, right? There's no get rich quickly. It's all like, I'll say hustle. It's all studying.
Yeah.
It's all understanding.
True.
Yeah.
For me, it's different. Like I'm not like I'm long term holder for all the stocks, but I want to take out for when some like retire. Like so I'm saving for retirement.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm not gonna take out anytime soon.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep it there, let it grow. You know.
Yeah, for speaking of retirement, I don't see the stock market as my device for retirement. I think for me, retirement is more 401k or Roth IRA or whatever.
But you're not gonna like that way I look at it. I have those as well, like those for 1K. But I don't think I can. I need like another source of income once I'm retired.
No,
right?
I see what you're saying, but for me, it's the stock. Whatever I put in stock, I want to do more with that money. I don't want to always keep it in stock. I want to maybe take it out and invest on a business with that money and stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but the 401k and the Roth IRA, I don't want to touch those. Never.
Yeah.
Like if I go bankrupt, at least I know I'll have something for it as a thing. So that's my idea. Like that's how I see it.
Yeah, it's a good plan.
Yeah.
What about you?
I am still trying to figure out. I did not have like a lot of like instruction on how to handle money growing up as a kid, so I'm just trying to like figure it out day by day. I think when it comes to investment though, I want to have I want to diversify like the ways that I invest. Like I want to have like a long-term plan, but I also want to have like as a side like hustle, I guess, like you know, day to day, like investing, like day trading through cryptocurrency or something like that. Like I want some way to like make the money that I have worth more, but also something to where like I can put money away and never think about it, and then come back to it someday, and you know, oh cool, I've got $500,000 just chilling here, right? Like,
you want to be that guy that had like some millions of dollars in crypto, and he can't Bitcoin, and he can't access it.
He lost the password.
He lost the key thing you were mentioning.
Lost the key.
Oh my god, bro!
And there's no like support team. Like you're not getting it back.
We're gonna call. We're gonna do.
It's ridiculous. I think what it is, the guy that made the company that made the key, they could do it. But them doing it is basically destroying their own repetition.
So it's not gonna happen.
So unless they pay him like hey, you get like.
But they could do it on the table, right? Like nobody's gonna know. Only him and the company. Right?
People are gonna know.
Like if he didn't make a big deal out of it and like it didn't get into like news headlines and everything, then they probably would have like hush done
I think
it,
the idea is that they want to create a copy of that so he could practice the fake passwords on that fake one that has unlimited try, and then once he gets there he could go into but I think the company doesn't want to do it or something.
That's fair. I've actually got a quick question for both of you guys. How do you guys feel about like technical analysis or like stock trading games where they give you like fake money and you like put this fake money into like a fake stock market and then like see how you do? Like have you guys ever done that?
Yeah, I did it in high school, and I'm just gonna say I sold like this is a funny story. So we did it in like one of our class in high school, right? So we started off really well, like making money and stuff, but then towards like the mid like after 4 weeks or something, like all our stocks started doing. But so at that time, Facebook was IPOing. right? And so I told him, I convinced my team. I'm like, yo, this is the future. Let's do
you
it.
talking about the class in school?
Yeah,
They
history.
they taught you about stock market?
Yeah,
Oh, my
history.
I think my
What?
brother was in your class, right?
I
He
don't
talked about
remember.
some teacher, right? He told
Mr. Smooth. I still remember, or whatever.
Yeah.
He's
So
like-
that
he's like-
teacher, I think my brother told me
Yeah.
they give you like mock stock market, but
Yeah,
stock
they
market
give you
real,
money.
but you guys doing it like you buying your
you
stuff
check
real,
the
and not
ticker
real, like
every
you
day.
just
yeah,
writing it
that's what
down.
he's saying. So
Yeah.
So yeah, so like Facebook was IPOing, and I convinced my team. I'm like, yo, listen, we're not gonna win at this rate. Let's go gamble on the thing. Let's sell all our stock, buy Facebook. It's gonna go up, and fucking Facebook
It went
crashed.
down.
But the thing is, what I'm saying is, I won that live game because Facebook is like, I think 3 times more than it IPO right now, or 4 times. So just say,
Yo, imagine.
I won. Fuck you.
Yo, so imagine we actually bought those that time.
Yeah.
Those right now were worth a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean
Right?
that could go away. See, I hate when people think that way. Not you in particular.
Yeah.
People are like, was it Tesla used to be like $100, right? Yeah. So it was every other stock, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't. What you could do is continue to bank on it if you believe in that. Buy that, and then it will continue. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
where you get in, as long as you
Yeah.
make money, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I did it. So
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't-
that's what I've been thinking about doing it to like practice like technical analysis
Really?
and like get better at like drawing graphs and understanding the graphs and the different like indicators of what the stock is likely going to do next. But I haven't done it yet, so I was curious what your opinions of it were.
I actually never did that kind of thing. Like he said, he has a class. I never had that class, but I always like go into Google or YouTube, learn a little bit, then I invested. But the only thing is, I invest on something that I know, right? Let's
Yeah.
say I use this. Let's say I use Spotify. I'm gonna invest in Spotify. I use Google. I'm gonna invest in Google. So I invest on those kind of stuff beginning. But then I my friend was talking about something else, like EV companies, like a small one, like small companies, right? They're just popping right now, right? So I started buying those later on because I didn't like do research on those, but I just bought it because my friend told me. Right, so this could be like both ways. Like sometimes I do research, sometimes I don't do research. So.
I mean, see, stock market, or I think with life, right? Like I think everything is a chance of probability, right? Like everything has luck or probability involved in it. But the only way to get better at something is to understand
Practice,
it
yeah.
and then improve your probability. I think luck plays a big factor in everything, but if you understand the stock market, because stock market is pretty, if you actually understand it, it makes completely sense, right? There's like when things goes up, it goes up. Like if you understand the charts and stuff, you'll see some of these charts are so similar. I'm like, if you look at the past chart and this year chart, I'm like, oh, this makes sense why that happened, right? So it depends on how much energy you want to put into it, like everything else, right? Like for me personally, I don't want to do that. Like I feel like I'd rather do something else where I'll have more enjoyment out of life, right, than stock market and getting consumed by it, right?
Yeah.
Which happened to me, and I did not like that, right? Like, let's say if you get consumed by your business, right? You have this really good app idea or really good store idea, whatever, right? You still like getting consumed by something you like, right? Like,
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So that's just how I think about it, I guess.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You'll have to tell us your story about what happened eventually
Yeah.
someday.
It's, I mean, end of the day, I was just being greedy. That's all it is.
I think you all like that. We're all-
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah.
Like it's
I-
part of the process.
Yeah, part of the process,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think greed just like consumed it, but I learned from my mistake.
Yeah.
I grew from it, and
I was different on this. Like I don't invest all my money in the stock market or something. I allocate my money like somewhere else, like real estate and other
Yeah,
stuff.
that's how
I
it
want to
should
mention everything. So I think for you made that mistake there, like investing all this money in one place, which I didn't do.
Not really.
Yeah,
It was-
okay, but yeah, I'm just saying I don't want to like I don't want to go in detail.
No, it's
so,
fine. I could
yeah.
like. It's not like it was more like I made a profit, and then instead of just taking the profit, I got greedier, and I'm like, okay, I want to make way more.
Yeah.
Like it's that sense, right? Like yeah.
That's where like I only recently learned this, but like you gotta set like it doesn't matter if you could make 100%. you set like some percentage that you want to make off of like any given trade, and then you take that, and then like you know what, I've noticed like much better returns, because like I would rather have a consistent 10% return from my trades than a chance at like a 400% or like a, you know, like if you get lucky you get lucky, but like it's better to just play it safe.
That's the thing, like going back to the sex analogy, right?
Oh my god.
Listen, look, you pull out too early without coming and you see your stock skyrocket, and that feels like garbage, bro. Like I pull out a crypto and crypto just flies.
Bro, you can't say that, bro. You can say that, but you cannot differentiate between stocks and stock market. But sometimes stock market keep going up, but what if a stock, bro? You can't.
Sex doesn't just keep happening.
I can't imagine, bro. Like,
it's a joke. It's not that serious, but like imagine pulling out too early, right? You think you're about to come and you pull out, right? And then that's what happens when you pull out of a stock, and then the next day it flies, right? That feeling is not good, right? Like,
yeah, but like that's the problem is like you're feeling it. Like you shouldn't be feeling it.
Emotion comes in.
Yeah,
right?
you can't let that emotion come in. You got to be like, well, better luck next time, right? Like there's no feeling that, there's no like fear of missing out or anything.
And that's the thing, right? Like a lot of, I guess when you start off, you don't understand that, right?
Yeah.
You get emotional,
you get frustrated,
and then you make way more gambly risks that you don't want. It's like, okay, no, I missed out that much money. That's what happened to me. It's like, oh, I missed that out of money. For some reason, I felt like I was owed that money, right? Yeah. I'm like, I had this stock and I sold it, but why did it go up? When it goes down, you're like, yes, I sold it. Right? Exactly. But it's that sense, right? Like I sold it and I'm like, why? And I felt like I was owed that, so I took a way more chance with other stock that I will never do.
Yeah. Well, so interestingly enough, like one thing that's really helped me out, like get better at like removing my emotion from it, has been learning chess. Like chess has a lot in common with the stock market. I'll say, because like there's this concept in chess of like you have an idea, like, and this idea takes several moves to like complete. And like if the idea like works out and like you gain a like significant advantage over like your opponent, right? But the one thing that's a problem is that like you get tied to this idea that something is going to happen, right? And then your opponent makes a move that you're not expecting.
It makes sense,
right? And then like you're still holding on to this idea that like your plan can work, but like everything changed when your opponent made that move that you weren't expecting them to make, right?
That makes so much sense.
And that's exactly the same thing with the stock market. You've got to give up on your ideas when something happens that you're not expecting. Like you've got to like
the bottom line is you have to learn how to chess first. I mean, I don't know. So if you know that all the tricks from the chess, you could use it in the stock market. I think that way you explain it.
The idea is just that like your small positional increases, like you're doing the things that are best for your investments or for your pieces. Chess or investing is the same thing. Like you want to make small, like gambles can work out, but like nobody plays chess like to gamble anymore, right? It used to be like, you know, like back in the 1800s, 1700s, people like played chess drastically like that. Like there's this game called the Immortal Game where somebody literally like sacrifices their like strongest piece and like wins the game, right? And it's like this like, you know, romantically like beautiful game, but it's like risky. It's like these like huge risks.
But going back to probability, right? It might work for that one person, but it's not gonna work for everyone, right?
Exactly.
Like, that's the idea, right?
And that's like the whole like gambler's mindset. You shouldn't have the gambler's mindset when it comes to investing.
What he's saying makes perfectly sense, right? And it's just not for stock market, right? Like, and I mean, I learned it too. It sucks that I had to learn it that way, but I'm still grateful that I learned my lesson. And like, I all I could do is get that lesson and
learn from mistakes.
It's not gonna kill me. Like end of the day, I'm still like positive and I'm still young, right? No matter what. So it's that idea, right? Because I had this mentality, like I was like, I have this goal, I have this way, and for some reason, when like life just threw a curveball, right? The stock market crashed, not just only one bad investment. Because that bad investment didn't do much for me, right? It wasn't a big deal. But what happened was right after that, the whole market crashed, right? Like the recent year. So all that kind of spiraled me out of control because it kind of, I had this idea that, okay, I'm gonna take out my money, then buy something else. And like, you know, I had like a whole...
Like you had a plan. You had like an idea of like what...
And once that is, like you spiral on a thing. And what you're saying makes perfectly sense. Like if you do that, you're just gonna get way more trapped in.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like,
Things are only gonna get worse
Yeah.
because you're tied to this idea
Yeah,
or this
yes,
like
yes.
plan, and like it's already like
Yeah.
gone. Like give up
Yeah.
on it,
Yeah,
let
yeah,
it die.
yeah.
So do
kind
you
of.
guys get frustrated when it's just like you're not meeting your plans, like it's going down, right? But you want to make more money, right?
Yeah. So oh, sorry. go ahead.
For me it's like different. Like when it's let's say something went down, right? What that way I look at it, it could have been worse, right? So I'm satisfied whatever it is right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my profit. I'm just gonna secure my profit, right? Whatever
Yeah.
I'm making, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's went down. I'm like frustrated. I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna sell whatever I have, like, you know. So what I do, I sizing it. Like let's say I sell, like I have 100 share, I sell 50 of them and keep another 50. So in case it goes up.
Yeah.
So, but I never panicked about like going down. I always be like, oh, could have been worse. Could have been worse. So I was thinking to myself like, it could have been worse. So I'm just selling now.
It's good that you have that like level-headed mindset
Yeah.
because I think
Yeah.
that that's something that is required for
Yeah.
the stock market or any kind of like investment opportunities at all.
Yeah.
It's like you have to understand it's the long
Yeah.
game. It's you're getting there. It's just that you're not gonna invest in something and shoot up 1800%.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think like what, especially with the stock market, we should wrap up soon. But what it actually taught me is that what you were saying about that investor mindset, right? Like, not everything. Like, what if this was my business and that happened? Like, I got a violation, right? Do I just give up? No. You have to figure it out. You have to like, that's the idea. Yeah.
That's
So-
Any
This
final
is it.
thoughts, guys?
that's all I got.
Yeah.
All right. So
Cool.
that's it.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Let's call it a day.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yep. Thanks.
Bye.